Have you ever woken up feeling just a little off? Maybe a sudden wave of dizziness while making breakfast? Or a strange moment of confusion in the middle of a conversation and brushed it off as just getting older? What if I told you that these fleeting moments could be your brain sending a silent alarm? Let's talk about something most doctors don't catch until it's too late: silent strokes. Unlike the dramatic strokes we see in movies, these happen without fanfare. No collapsing, no slurred speech. But make no mistake, they leave behind damage that adds up over time. And here's the kicker: by the time most seniors notice something's wrong, their brain health has already taken a hit. Take my friend Harold, for example, a sharp 68-year-old who still plays tennis twice a week. Last winter, he kept bumping into door frames and dropping his coffee mug. His wife joked about his klutz phase, but 6 months later, a brain scan showed patches of dead tissue from multiple silent strokes. The scariest part? He never felt a thing. The first symptom you're missing? The morning stumble. Here's what happens. You wake up feeling fine, but when you swing your legs out of bed, the room tilts for half a second. Maybe you grab the nightstand to steady yourself. Just stood up too fast, you think. But here's what's really happening. Tiny areas of your brain that control balance and spatial awareness aren't getting enough oxygen. Try this tomorrow morning. Before getting out of bed, do the 30-second balance check. Sit on the edge of your mattress with feet flat on the floor. Close your eyes and lift one knee slightly. If you sway more than usual, or if one side feels dramatically weaker, that's your cue to call your doctor. This simple test caught early warning signs for Martha, a 71-year-old former teacher who now keeps a stability journal by her bedside. The second red flag: the conversation glitch. Picture this. You're at a family barbecue telling your grandkids about your first car. Mid-sentence, you blank on the word steering wheel. Everyone laughs, including you. But later you realize it's happened 3 times this week. This isn't normal aging. Silent strokes often hit the brain's language centers, creating what neurologists call tip-of-the-tongue syndrome. Here's what works. Keep a word watch notepad in your pocket. Every time you struggle to recall a common word, mark it down. If you hit 3 entries in a day, text your doctor this phrase: "I'm having more gaps than usual." That's exactly how Frank, a retired mechanic from Arizona, caught his mini strokes early. His doctor adjusted his blood pressure meds, and within weeks, Frank was back to telling long-winded stories at the VFW hall. Now here's what most people get wrong. They assume if there's no headache or numbness, it's not urgent. But silent strokes are like termites. You won't see the damage until the foundation cracks. That slight limp you've been chalking up to arthritis, the fuzzy thinking you blame on a bad night's sleep, could be your brain literally shrinking its connections. If any of this rings true, do me a favor. Tap that like button. Every click helps another senior spot these warnings before it's too late. Because here's the good news. Up to 80% of strokes are preventable. And sometimes the fix is as simple as changing when you take your medications or adding a specific type of leafy green to your dinner plate. But there's one symptom that's even sneakier than what we've covered so far. Something that masquerades as tired eyes or bad lighting. It's the reason Ellen, a spry 73-year-old book club president, nearly lost her ability to read. Until she tried the clock test I'll share next time. Stay with me, because what you don't know could hurt your brain, but what you're about to learn might just save it. You remember Ellen, the book club president who nearly lost her ability to read? Here's what happened. One rainy Thursday, she opened her latest mystery novel and realized the words looked like they'd been typed in hieroglyphics. She blamed her new reading glasses. Her optometrist said her prescription hadn't changed. But when she mentioned it to her cardiologist, that's when they ordered an MRI. The scan showed tiny strokes had been nibbling at her visual processing center for months. The third stealth symptom, the blurry hour. This isn't about needing stronger readers. Silent strokes can create what neurologists call visual amnesia. Your eyes work, but your brain struggles to make sense of what you're seeing. You might misjudge the height of a step, pour coffee past the mug's edge, or suddenly find street signs visually jumbled. The cruel twist? It often comes and goes, making you doubt your own perception. Here's how to catch it. The clock face test. Once a week, draw a clock from memory. Set the time to 3:40. If the numbers crowd one side or the hands point to blank spaces where numbers should be, your brain might be compensating for silent damage. Ruth, a 69-year-old painter, failed this test spectacularly. Her clock had all 12 numbers squeezed into the right half. 2 weeks on a blood thinner, and her landscape stopped looking smudged. Now let's talk about the real danger lurking behind these symptoms. Silent strokes aren't just random misfires. They're red flags for what doctors call a brain under siege. Every tiny stroke doubles your risk of a major vascular event in the next year. But here's what most miss. The damage isn't just physical. It chips away at your independence, one unnoticed slip at a time. Take Walter, a 70-year-old who prided himself on still splitting firewood. When he started forgetting where he parked at the grocery store, he joked about senior moments. But his daughter noticed he'd also stopped making eye contact. Turns out, silent strokes had damaged his depth perception. He was subconsciously avoiding stairs and uneven terrain. By the time they found the cause, he'd already given up driving in his beloved woodpile. Here's your power move. Check your blood pressure at the wrong time. Most people measure it in the morning. Do it instead right after dinner, when silent stroke risk peaks. A 2023 Johns Hopkins study found seniors with after-dinner systolic readings above 150 had triple the silent stroke risk. Keep a week's log. If 3 evenings hit 150 plus, show it to your doctor with these exact words. Could this indicate nocturnal hypertension? That phrase triggers specific preventive protocols. If you've ever squinted at a familiar object and thought, when did that get there? Type eyes in the comments. Let's see how many of us have brushed off these warning signs. Now the hopeful part. Clara, a 76-year-old grandmother in Omaha, reversed her silent stroke risk in 6 months with 2 changes. She switched her daily walk from morning to late afternoon, when blood pressure spikes are most dangerous, and started eating 1 surprising fruit before bed, a trick that dropped her nighttime BP by 22 points. But here's the kicker. The fruit isn't what you'd expect. It's not bananas or berries. I'll share exactly what it is and why it works like a pressure relief valve for your brain when we wrap this up. Stick around, because the final piece of this puzzle isn't just about avoiding disaster. It's about reclaiming the sharp, vibrant life you deserve. And trust me, you'll want to hear about the $3 kitchen staple that could be your brain's best ally. Let's solve Clara's mystery. That surprising fruit she eats every night, prunes. Not the most glamorous choice, but here's why her neurologist prescribed them. The potassium in bananas helps with daytime blood pressure, but prunes contain a unique combo of magnesium, fiber, and antioxidants that relax blood vessels at night. When most silent strokes occur, she eats 2 before bed with a glass of water. Simple, boring, life-changing. But here's the $3 kitchen hero you already own. Garlic, not the powder, the real stuff. Crush 1 clove, let it sit for 10 minutes. This activates the good compounds. Then swallow it with a spoonful of yogurt. A 2024 Mayo Clinic trial found this daily habit reduced arterial plaque in seniors by 18% over 6 months. That's like giving your brain's blood vessels a daily scrub brush. The final piece, the silent thief you invite every night. Meet George, a 67-year-old jazz enthusiast who ate clean, exercised, and still had 4 silent strokes in 1 year. The culprit? Midnight breathing, not snoring. Those 10-second pauses when his oxygen levels crashed. Sleep apnea doesn't just leave you groggy, it starves the brain, making silent strokes 80% more likely. The fix wasn't a CPAP machine. His doctor prescribed singing. 5 minutes of sustained OM sounds daily to strengthen throat muscles. Within 3 months, his brain scan showed new blood vessels sprouting like spring grass. Here's your action plan. The 2-minute tongue test. Each morning, stick out your tongue and say, in the mirror. If the sides look scalloped, like a pie crust, it signals nighttime breathing struggles. Pillow stack. Sleep with 2 pillows under your head and 1 under your knees. This slight tilt keeps airways open. The garlic rule. Add raw crushed garlic to 1 meal daily, even if it's just rubbing a clove on toast. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Fear. It's easy to hear these stories and think, is it too late for me? Ask Betty, who at 82 reversed 20 years of silent stroke damage by doing three things. Switched her morning coffee to green tea, the EGCG compound repairs blood vessels, started tracing complex mazes while balancing on one leg, dual task brain training, installed smart bulbs that turn amber after 7 p.m., blue light spikes nighttime BP. This isn't about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. The ability to recognize your granddaughter's voice in a crowd, to read mystery novels without the words dancing, to walk through your home in the dark without fear. So here's my challenge to you. Today, choose one tip from this series and act on it. Maybe it's drawing that clock, crushing garlic into your salad, or texting your doctor about after-dinner blood pressure. Then, come back here and tell us about it. Write, "I'm choosing X" in the comments. Let's build a wall of hope others can see. Your brain is listening right now. Those neurons are forging new connections as you absorb this information. That's the miracle of neuroplasticity. It's never too late to change your story. Before you go, do two things for me. Tap that subscribe button. It's right there, next to the thumbs up. Every time we gain a subscriber, it tells YouTube, more seniors need this. Share this with one person who's joked about senior moments. They might roll their eyes, but they'll secretly check their tongue in the mirror tomorrow. Aging isn't a decline. It's a second chance to get things right, to prioritize what truly matters, to outsmart the silent threats with knowledge they never taught our parents. You've got the tools now. The rest? That's your next chapter waiting to be written. Here's to clear mornings, sharp conversations, and sunsets you'll remember down to the last detail. Thanks for letting me be part of your journey. Now go show that brilliant brain of yours who's boss.